I don't know. You took it off.
Probably about 68 years ago, over by that tree over there, yeah. And I remember things changed a lot. In those days in Madagascar, it wasn't so commercial, you know? It wasn't all
All
about
right, everybody. Guess what? It's Monday night. It is time for Move It Monday. Are you excited about being here? I know I'm excited about being here. I don't know what happened to our countdown tonight. Oh, I got a tickle in my throat all of a sudden. Anyway, so super excited to have you guys on. Don't forget, go tag your friends. Tell them, hey guys, Move It Monday started, because we want to get a huge group on tonight. We have so many great things. I don't know why, Charlie. What's going on with my music over there? This is it's coming back. He says, I don't know. So we just got down to our house at the beach. So things are a little combobulated, right? But we're ready to boogie. We're ready to get things going, and I'm excited because we have a special guest tonight, and I'm so excited that my friend is going to be here with us, and we've got a lot of great stuff to share with you. So in the comments, guys, go ahead and tell us who's here. Tell us what you're excited about. Tell me something that happened to you this week that you are just really excited about. Maybe you got a package in that you're excited about. Maybe you met a new customer you're excited about. Maybe you had a party that you're excited about. Most important, what are you excited about? Because that's what it's all, that's what we have to focus on. That's what we're in control of, is our happiness. And our happiness comes from being able to see the things that are positive, see the things that are happening, and make things happen. So hopefully you've tagged all your friends, told them to get on. And remember, guests can always join us on our YouTube channel, the Hooray Sales channel. Over there on YouTube, it's a public place, so they can join us in there as well. And Colleen's excited about a package she got today. And Colleen, we're just excited that you're part of our Tupperware company as well. So guys, let me go ahead and get us started here. Oops, there it goes. With our Move It Monday. We always like to come to this with this idea of thinking about what's new, what opportunities do we have? Because every day is a new opportunity for us to be able to live bigger, to live better, to be able to have a more successful business as well. And as always, I like to start us off with a quote. And this is one that I really want you to take to heart, because this is kind of a mantra for me when I'm like moving through my business. I don't believe you have to be, not even my business. I believe it for my life. I don't believe you have to be better than everybody else. I believe you have to be better than you thought you ever could be. And I want you to think about that, because sometimes we limit ourselves by comparing ourselves to other people. And that's one of the things that will really hold us back from being able to be as good as we can be. It holds us back from being able to achieve our potential when we focus on comparing ourselves to other people. When we look at, well, what will other people think? When we look at it from, well, what if I'm not good enough? Then we limit our potential. And you need to understand that you have unlimited potential. You are destined for success if you believe that you have in you what it takes. So I want you to believe right now. I want you to say out loud, because I'm listening to every single one of you. I want to hear you say, I am capable of so much more. I'm listening. I am capable of so much more. I am working to be my best self. I'm working to be my best self. I want you to say that out loud. And I want you to start saying this to yourself every day. When you get up in the morning and you look in that mirror, I want you to look at yourself and say, you got this. You are amazing. You are going to go out there and slay the world today because you have something that nobody else has. And that's exactly true, guys. Each and every one of you has gifts and talents that nobody else has. And it's up to you to bring those to the world and share those. And it's what's going to help you take your business to the next level. It's going to help you take your life to the next level. But tonight we're talking about your business. So I want you to think about that. I want you to believe that the only thing you have to do is get up today and be better today than you were yesterday. And then the next day, get up and be better than you were the day before and the day before and the day before. And every day, think that thought, and you will be amazed what's going to happen in your business and conversely in your life. All right, so remember that there is only one Tupperware, and we want lots and lots of people to join us. And we have some great offers for everybody when they join us. Of course, we always have our virtual opportunity for $15, and we have our deluxe demo kit for $139. But this month, and so we're halfway through the month, we only have half the month left. And we are going to be, we have an opportunity to offer people a special kit that they can use. It's $99. For some people, that number just sounds a little bit better. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. For that $40 more, it's worth it to go for the deluxe kit because it's so much better. But sometimes people need choices. And so if you give them a choice, then maybe they'll go for the bigger kit because they'll think it's a better choice. And of course, when they put that first order of $40 in, they're going to get that Vent and Serve. We all love Vent and Serve. It is the most amazing product. It's made out of a product that it's called PES. And if I try to say it like the long chemical name, it will just be mangled. But it's the same thing that Veridel is. That's actually what we used to use. PES is the generic name. We've actually got a new company that's providing our materials for this. That is actually considered really probably as comparable or better than Veridel, but it's also it's one that we specifically have in Tupperware. And it's important to know what our products are made of because people will ask you that. So PES, you can go Google it, PES, it'll tell you what it's all about. But basically what it is a very expensive material that is extremely heat resistant. Same thing that they make electrical conduits out of. They use it in hospitals. So it's very safe, and but it can handle the high temperatures that microwaves do. So that's why Veridel, why Vent and Serve is such a great product for the microwave. So we want to get a set of this microwave in everybody's kitchen. How are we going to do that? We're going to share the opportunity. And when you share the opportunity, there's some great gifts for you. Check it out, guys. Look at all that's in it for you when you welcome new people. Now, I want you to in the comments tell me right now, which of these gifts do you see that you would like to have in your kitchen? What's something there that you see that maybe you don't have that you would like to have? Maybe you already have a couple of these, and if so, why do you love the one that you have, and why should other folks want to get that as well? So I want you just to kind of be thinking about that as you are looking at this, and everybody's catching up with where I'm at and everything. And go ahead and drop in the comments. Which of these do you have? Do you have the cookware already? Do you know someone who has the cookware? If you have some of them, what don't you have? If you have them, why do you love the ones you have? Go ahead and put that in the comments because, that's going to help each other because we want people to know why they want the things. Now, I'm going to tell you guys one of my favorites that's on here is the Ultra Pro. I love, love, love the Ultra Pro. Even since the very first version of what we, came out with that's similar to this, I think it is incredible. It can go from the microwave to the oven, to the fridge, to the freezer, to the table. It's so easy to clean. And it looks as good a year, 2 years, 5 years later than it did, as it did when I first got it. So it's really important to think about that as well, because that's what's going to make a difference. And if you love it, you can share it with other people. You can share it with your team people. If you have people on your team, you can share it with people that you're talking to about joining your team, because if you share with them about why you love this product, then you can lead into, you know what? We have this special offer going on. And if you join my team and have a few friends that join with you, because it's always better to do this with a buddy, you could qualify to get this Ultra Pro for free, or you could qualify to get this Ultra Pro at a discount. And so it's a really important thing to be talking to people about some of these products, whether it's the cookware, whether it's the knives, whether it's the Ultra Pro. You want to be talking about these so that it creates a buzz, because creating a buzz is what it's all about. All right. Now, we also have challenges all the time for you based on your sales, right? And you can get lots and lots of great things when you're doing that. This month, we have 3 awesome offers for you for the whole month. We have our fridge stackables and freezer mates. Freezer stackables and freezer mate set at the 500 level. We have our utensil holder and KP tools, our kitchen professional tools for you at the $1,000 level. And of course, we have our stock pot, our Universal Series stock pot at the 2,000 level. Now, not pictured on here, I want to remind you that we are doing our turkey trot, and we do have some extra bonus gifts for you at higher levels in our turkey trot. And we have our first, big bird out there qualifier. And we have a couple of other gobblers, and we have some wobblers, and we have some trotters. So you want to be sure that you are checking where you are. We're halfway through the month. You still got time to hit those higher levels. And don't forget also our ornament of the month at 2022 as well. And you want to make sure that you're building that collection of those as well. So what's really exciting about our business is that we are in control of it. So whether we're dating parties or whether we're sharing the opportunity, we have an opportunity to fill our kitchen with great Tupperware products, but more importantly, we have an opportunity to build streams of income. Now, some of you may remember last week we were talking about gratitude, right? We talked about the importance of being grateful for what we have and being grateful for the people that are in our lives, the people who welcomed us into Tupperware, the people who shared the opportunity with us, and recognizing that if we are appreciative of somebody sharing that with us, if we are happy that we were given this opportunity, why would we not want to share that with other people, right? We talked about that a little bit last week. We touched on it. And one of the things that I was sharing with you last week is, it's important to take the time to reach out to the person who welcomed you into Tupperware, or maybe reach out to someone who has been supportive to you since you've been in Tupperware and thank them. And now tonight, I want you to kind of shift that and think, what if somebody hadn't offered that to me? I wouldn't be here right now. So see, you want to think about that, because if someone hadn't offered it to you, you wouldn't have all the benefits of it. So now it's on you to make sure you're offering it to somebody else as well. Well, guys, I have a very special friend here with me tonight, and I'm going to bring her on here with me. And it is my wonderful friend, Pat Russell. She's the awesome business leader at Golden Opportunity Sales. She is originally from Vermont.
Oh, she got it right.
Of course I got it right. I always know it's Vermont, but then I always second guess myself and think, maybe I'm just because I live, spent a summer in Vermont. And I think it's Vermont, but I know it's Vermont. But how many years have you been here in the South now?
Now, I want to say, hey, hooray. You're like my second family. So I want to say hi to everybody, and thanks for being here. And thanks, Marcia and Charlie, for letting me play. Been down south now for almost 15 years, if you can.
No way. Has it really been that long?
Yeah. I'll be 65. I came when I was 50.
I know, it's crazy, right? So yeah, Pat's son came to college down at Clemson, and her husband said, I'm tired of this cold weather up here. Let's move south. And so she moved south, and because of the way our business works, she still has her team up in Vermont. She has a thriving team up in the Vermont area. She's moved down here. She's built a thriving team down here in the Carolinas. And what I love is that I have a friend right across the border, and we get to do things together. And even if we don't physically get together as much as we'd like, we get to play and we get to talk. And she and I probably talk almost every day. You know, we chat with each other. We have a little thing called Telegram that we use, and we brainstorm together. And so we've been talking about recruiting. Right.
And Marcia, that's one of the benefits of recruiting is you might find your best buddy, someone that you share this opportunity with. It isn't about the bowls, it's about the people.
Right. You find your TFF, right?
Yeah.
Your Tupperware friend, forever friend.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm so excited that she's here because tonight we're going to talk about all things recruiting, guys. And we really want you to play along with us. I want you to be commenting, and I want you to get your note paper out and pen out, and I want you to take some notes because I'm challenging you to take what you're going to learn tonight and run with it. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is, the importance of getting your story out there. Like sometimes I always say, like, the Tupperware business is the best kept secret in town. Would you agree with me on that, Pat?
Oh, so much. I just said that. I so agree with you, Marcia. We just don't talk about it enough. I don't know why we're so shy about it.
Yeah. And maybe it's because, we feel like maybe we'd be pushy, or maybe, like sometimes I think we think, I haven't experienced enough success to tell other people they could do it. Or sometimes it's just like, well, how do I know if they might be interested? I shouldn't talk to people about it if I don't know if they're interested. But guys, you are making a decision for somebody else every time you don't offer it to somebody. You're saying, like, if Pat was at my party and I didn't talk about recruiting and I didn't offer it to her, then I've made a decision that Pat does not deserve to be in Tupperware with me.
Right.
And some of you listening, like right now, did you join Tupperware because you decided I want to do this and you reached out to somebody? Or did you just, join Tupperware because somebody said to you or talked about it, at least at the party, so that you asked a question, or they reached out to you and said, you should sell Tupperware with me? Go ahead in the comments. Tell us, which way was it? Did you pick up the phone, call somebody, or send a message and say, I want to sell Tupperware? Or did someone have to offer it to you?
And Marcia, while they comment, I want to share a real quick story.
Yeah.
We had a wonderful woman on our team, and she was a professor at a college, and she got laid off because of her age. And she actually did call Tupperware, and she said, nobody will hire me. Will you? Because of age discrimination. And that story always just hangs around in my head. Here's someone who has so many skills that nobody would offer a job because she was older. So that fascinates me, that whole thing of who's out there. And I love that Karen asked everyone.
Yeah.
And I have to add one more thing, because this is my big thing is it's not our job to prejudge or to decide for someone. It's our job just to offer the information and let them make up their own mind. They're adults. So just share the information. That's what we do. We're not supposed to persuade. We're not supposed to pressure. We're just giving information so they can decide if it's for them or not.
Yeah, exactly. So, and as I'm looking through the comments, there were some who were offered it. There were some who reached out to somebody. And, that's okay too, because sometimes people will reach out because you've made it look like something that they want to do. And that's why I say, this whole idea of don't be shy about sharing what you love. Now, some of these images that you see here on my screen tonight, they are from Tup Social. So if you have the Tupperware Premium or Pro website, and if you're a brand new consultant in your first 90 days, you have the option to have that for free. So you have to select it. Everybody gets a website. Everybody can have a website to share with people, but the Premium and Pro site have some extra benefits, and that's why we pay for those. But you get that Premium site for the first 90 days simply by clicking, and this is going to ask you to put a credit card in so that when 90 days are up, you'll be charged the $9.99. Now you can quit. You can take it off after 90 days. But one of the benefits of that special website is that you get access to Tup Social, and they have all these amazing images, just like the ones you see here. And these are just a small sampling of some of the ones that are available. You don't even have to use these, though. I mean, when I say don't be shy about what you love, tell your story. Don't be like throwing up on people, but tell your story like, I love, I'm on a field trip with my kids, thank goodness for my Tupperware business that lets me do this. And you don't even always have to put that in there. You just go, thankful that I have the flexibility to be with my kids. Thankful that I can go spend time with my mom who's, in the hospital. Thankful that I can take my, go on a trip with my friends. And then you can just hashtag, love what you do, hashtag Tup love. You can do things like that. So, but people watch you. Do you realize how many people watch what you do and what you say? And they're looking at you and going, I want her life.
Yeah.
Have you had that happen to you, Pat?
Oh my goodness. I went to a craft show one day and I actually had one of my good hostesses say, I watched you go around that whole craft show and you were just buying whatever you wanted. I was a manager at this point. And she goes, and I thought, that's because she's doing all those parties with me. And I laughed and said, yeah, you're right. That's my extra money. I got to give Hooray a challenge. Okay. Marsha's talking about Tup Social. I'm going to challenge everybody because I just found this myself last week and it blew me away. Under the recruiting, there is a little video that our culinary expert Dia made that is hilariously amazing. I challenge you all, go, not right now, but go find it tonight. And I challenge you to use it in a party this week. It is fabulous for talking about our opportunity. I don't know. Marsha,
it's under the recruiting one, under the opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't see that. I was in.
Oh my gosh, it's awesome.
Okay,
it's a
I'm
little
going to
video.
look for that too because I was pulling these tonight before we got started. So I just learned something, guys. Now I'm so glad that I'm here. I mean, that's the thing, right? We go. So we always want to be on things like this so you can learn new things because the only way you learn is you show up. And there's an old saying: if you show up, you go up. So we're going to go up tonight. All right. So now, first things first, don't be shy about sharing your opportunity. And that means every day posting something that shows you, some of you heard me talk about living my yes life. And living your yes life means you get to make the decision about what you want to do. You're not waiting for somebody else to give you permission. You get to say yes to whatever you want to say yes to. And that our Tupperware business gives us the flexibility to be able to do that. I started when my kids were, I started when my son was a year old. I didn't even have but one at that time because I didn't want to put him in daycare and go back to work full time. It gave me flexibility and a way to make money. And then when I had my second child, some of you know her, Corinne. And so when I had my second child, then I realized this could be an income source for our family that was more than just an extra income. It was like a primary income. And that's one of the key things that's in our business is we have to always be looking at the benefits of what it can do and sharing that with people. So just like incorporating your story out there on a regular basis and don't just limit yourself. I mean, a lot of times we have VIP pages and we just kind of focus on just posting in our VIP pages. But your VIP page is really the place for you to do special offers and things for your regular customers. If you want to if you want to meet new people and if you want to attract new people, you need to be using a business page, a Facebook business page, or you can sprinkle it in through your personal page as well. You can use your personal page as a way to do that. And I'm going to have to get one of our amazing managers, Doreen Pelletier, to come on and share with us soon because she did a fabulous sharing on our regional leadership call last week. And she was sharing about something that she's doing that's helping her meet new customers. And so you're going to want to be tuned in for that because I think I'm going to try to see if I can get her to do this next week for us and share with you some great things that she's doing as well. So take advantage of Tup Social. Like Pat said, there's some really cool things in there for you. It has a lot of features that make it really easy for you to do your business. I know some of you have used some of the demonstration videos that I have. used. I've used them. I didn't make them. I use them because they're on Tap Social and I can schedule them to play every day. And then I know that it's taken care of. People are going to see about it. All right. So first things first, don't be shy. Now, the second thing is that you've got to create interest in your parties. And whether, Pat and I were talking about this earlier today, is that I love in-home parties. Pat, you love in-home parties,
I
right?
love being with the people. Just let me be around the people.
So why do you love doing in-home parties so much?
It's just building the relationship with people and hearing their stories, because it just makes the little bells go off in my head why they'd be great in Tupperware. And it's just meeting the new people all the time and their energy about the product and their excitement about the product. It just refuels you. It is like a vitamin B12 shot.
Oh, I like
every time.
It is. And because you're in person, you get to really see them. I always say when you look into somebody's eyes, you see their soul. So you can look into their eyes and you can kind of connect with them on this very lovely level, and you can show each other that, we're both human beings and we're both, here just getting by, and we're here to support each other and help each other. So in a virtual world, we have to kind of maybe work a little harder, but this is why it's important too, even in your virtual parties, that if you don't want to go live, do a little recording of yourself, or at least do a picture of yourself and tell your story in your words, and introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Marsha, the Tupperware lady, a little bit about me, and blah, blah, blah. So they get to make that human connection with you. And then you can say, tell me a little bit about yourself, and they can do the same thing. So in your virtual parties, you have to create this sense of community a little bit differently. But one of my favorite games that I used to do in my in-person parties, I always do an auction at parties. And so I would give people their play money. And then I would go around the room and I'd say, okay, I'm the magic Tupperware fairy, and I've just waved my magic wand, and you all have just got $1,000 in your checking account. What would you do with that extra $1,000? And then I would go, Pat, what would you do with an extra $1,000 in your checkbook?
Oh, it would go in my new kitchen that I'm renovating. That's costing too much money.
Oh, wow. Tell me, a new kitchen. That sounds so much fun. So tell me a little bit about it.
Oh, she really wants to know. So I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be gorgeous, and granite countertops and a new sink and fancy new stove that has a 5-in-1 microwave that does things I don't even understand yet.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so then I would go to the next person. And so then the next person I would say, what would you do with an extra $1,000? And so maybe, Pat, you can just be another person and tell me something else you would do with $1,000.
Well, this is what I would say, Marsha. How are you going to fix it? I'd say I'm going to pay bills.
Okay. And if you said that, I would go, you know what? I love that, because we all need an extra stream of income, right? To be able to pay those bills. We all have bills. Is there a particular bill that you would like to get rid of?
The braces for my son.
Oh gosh, my granddaughters just went through that. It is so expensive.
So expensive.
Right. And then I would go on to the next person.
Yep.
And the key with this is you get them to say what they do. So like a bill, I want to know specifically. When they say a trip, I want to know specifically. With her kitchen, I was like, tell me about your kitchen. I want specifics, because as soon as they share a specific, it's very real. It's real to them. And now I have some place that I can make that connection with them too. Because now that I know braces, then I could say something to her when I'm talking to her one-on-one about the idea of, how she could make $1,000. I'm not talking about it right now. I'm not going to mention it at this point in the party. You can do this virtually. You could use an image just like I have, and you could have a picture of a fairy godmother, and you could say, I'm the Tupperware fairy godmother. I just waved my wand. You have $1,000. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
And then you can use that as a way for you to make that connection. Remember, Pat just said, I love to build the relationships with people. It gives you a chance to build a relationship and just say, just like you would at a party, it's short, it's sweet, It gives you information, but it doesn't make them uncomfortable.
Exactly.
That's the key, right?
It makes it fun.
It makes it fun. Exactly. All right. So now you kind of filed this information away, but you're creating an interest. You can also create interest in some other ways. There's a game you can play, and it's called Ask Me Questions About My Job. Who knows what a job is? If you know what a job is, Pat knows, I know. Put it in the chat if you know what a job is. In fact, the first person who puts what a job is in the chat is going to get a gift from Charlie. So he's watching right now to see who it is. So put that in there. The Y-O-B, what is a job? All right. Yes, we all need in-home parties, right? Oh, there, Colleen got it. It's your own business. Y-O-B, your own business. See, nobody wants a job because a job is J-O-B, just over broke.
So, that one I've never heard. She got me, everybody.
Heard that?
Just over broke.
Right?
Just over broke. Everybody write that down.
Over broke, but a job is your own business. All right, right now I've got my magic vision glasses on. Everybody, pick up your right arm, put it over your head.
This one's my right arm.
Turn your palm to face away. Pat yourself on the back. You work for the best boss in the world, yourself. All right. So, keep that in mind all the time. So ask me questions about my job. Have you done this one at your parties before, Pat?
I love doing it at my parties, and it's even more fun when they're quiet and I have to do my little trick to get them to ask me questions.
Oh, tell me what that trick is.
Well, it depends on how organized it was at that particular party. Sometimes I'll just write them up on a little card. I'll have the questions I want them to ask, and I'll sneak it over to the quietest one in the room who hasn't asked anything, and I'll hand her the question and just whisper, go ahead and ask that one. And then she does, and she gets extra points, and she feels involved. So that's a fun way to get people to ask, because sometimes they won't ask what I want.
Exactly. And there's a couple of ways you can do this, guys. If you're doing the auction, you can often auction money. If you're doing this virtual, you can tell them that they get for every question they ask, they get a chance in your drawing at the end of the party. Mm-hmm. You can, have little tiny treasures. Sometimes at in-home parties, I'll have like tiny treasures in a bowl. And every
ice cream scoop magnet. I'm sorry to interrupt, but the ice cream scoop magnet is awesome for that because I'm giving you the scoop about my job. Sorry.
I love that. So we, and keep that in mind for the net, because when we talk about some of the other visuals you can use. But one of the things that, you can do is to have tiny treasures, and every time they ask a question. I heard a really cool idea from one of our managers, Pam Stokes, and she said when she would do this at her parties, she would ask, kind of like you did, the quietest person, if they would be her timekeeper, and if they would put 3 minutes on the clock, because they're only going to ask questions for 3 minutes, or you could do a minute or 2 minutes or whatever to kind of get it started. And then when the alarm would go off, she goes, well, you know what? Y'all are doing such a good job asking questions. Put another minute on the clock. And it would just kind of keep them asking, so that because the more questions that they asked, we could do that. So one of the things that I would always say is saying, you can ask me questions. I want you to ask me anything you want to know about a Tupperware business. Now, I want you to look at your mindset this way. Where, what would I want to know if I was going to start a Tupperware business? I kind of want you to think you're interviewing Tupperware. Mm-hmm. So that's what I want you to think about. What kind of things would you want to know if you were going to do Tupperware? Right. And you can ask me anything you want to know, except you can't ask me my age or my weight.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you always have something you tell them they can't ask you, and then it makes it funny, and people always laugh about that. But when if they're not asking questions, sometimes, like you said, you did cards. Here's what I would do. Somebody asked me about my company car. Somebody asked me about trips. Somebody asked me about how many parties I hold.
Yes.
And I would just and then somebody would go, how many parties do you hold?
Right.
I go, Pat, that's a great question. Because, I personally hold 4 to 5 a week because this is my full-time job, and I have a financial goal that I want with it. But the great thing about Tupperware is that you can hold as few or as many parties as you want. I know some people on my team that hold, one party a month, and I have others that hold 5 and 6 a week. So really and truly, it's up to you.
It's so true.
And then go on, Pat. It's another
Well, I
question.
was going to say, at the virtual parties, sometimes you get crickets because we all play that game. And sometimes it's like, no, my team says, nobody's asking me anything. So just this week, we started talking about doing the same thing, calling out somebody or just saying to somebody that is on, because you can see the little green light. Marcia, I know you want to ask me about my company car. And all of a sudden, Marcia's replying to me, Pat, what about your company car?
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where that interaction happens. And the interaction is where the magic is, guys. You've got to get people involved, and you've got to ask a lot of questions to get people to respond. And, one of the things about Facebook is it's built on algorithms, and the algorithms are built on people, interacting with each other. So the more things that you do that get people to respond back, and then you can respond to them, the better it's going to be. All right. So we're creating some interest. Now here's another way you can create some interest. You can use visuals on your display, and you can do these whether you're virtual. You can have images of things like this. I used to have a little sign in a frame that said 3 part-time and 1 full-time positions available. And that's all it would just say. And people would be reading it, and they would be looking at it, and they would be like, what does that mean? Yeah. See, I'll tell you guys, for me, what that meant is I was looking for one person that wanted to grow in this business, to be a leader in this business. And I was looking for 3 people that could be on their team. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like, because one full-time person and 3 part-time is a manager team, a manager unit. So I would kind of approach it that way. So you could put something like that on there. You could have a wrapped gift on there that's, and then somebody would ask you, like, what is that gift there for? What does that represent? Oh, it represents the gift of this opportunity that somebody offered me. And I don't want to forget to offer it to you. Right. Pat, have you used the alarm clock or the money in the fridge smart?
I haven't done the alarm clock. I can see how you would, but I actually did something different. I got crazy one day. I taped a shiny penny on every order form.
Ooh, tell me about that.
And everybody was like, why is there a penny on my order form? And I say, that's because I just want to remind myself, I'm always looking for shiny pennies to join my team. I'm looking for those shiny people to join my team. Who do you know who you think would be great at what I do? And you can say you. So it really was just that conversation starter, because they're all like, Pat. And then I ended it with, it just makes sense to give Tupperware a try.
I love it.
They all laughed at me, but it got the message across in a fun way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
And, and that's the key, right? Like when you do things that are sometimes silly. I mean, it may be silly, but people respond to that. I used to staple sugar packets because how sweet it is to be your own boss.
Yeah. And the smidget with the quarter for 25% profit. And then I used to do the 10% extra.
Nickel. I do the nickel. I do a quarter, a nickel, a dime, and a penny.
Yeah.
25% discount. You can make a 5 or 10% bonus, and it makes sense to join our business.
And there's money in Tupperware.
And that's where the money in your fridge smart, there's money in Tupperware, but if you find at the end of the month that, your budget, you're a little short, here's a way to make some cold cash. And it's the smart thing to do is to join us in Tupperware. And then the alarm clock. Sometimes when at parties, I would set the alarm to go off during the party. Mm-hmm. And it would go off and I say, oh, that's a reminder to me. It's time to tell you about Tupperware, about our Tupperware business, or it's time for us to play a game. And then I would do the ask me question. So it's just kind of some fun stuff that you can do, or the clock can represent, the great thing about Tupperware is that it's flex time and you can choose when you want to work. Mm-hmm. So guys, these are all things that you can be doing to just start the conversation. Yes. Now, once you've got that conversation started, and by no means is this everything that's possible. We're just giving you a taste tonight. I want to hear from some of you. What are some of the things you do to create interest in your parties? Go ahead and put that in the comments so that others can hear. And if you're watching the replay, you can still chime in because everybody likes to see something new, right? So you want to pick people that you can invite to learn more. See, you're doing all this, and that's like the fluff. That's not what's going to get people to say yes, and that's not what's going to get people to come up to you and say, "Tell me more." We have to be the ones that pick people out and invite them to learn more. So as you're talking to people as they come in the door, it's always important to introduce yourself, get to know them. Same thing, even in your virtual parties. Tell me, how do you know your host?
Right.
That was always one of my favorite questions to ask people. How do you know the host? All right. And I see, I'm going to stop real quick because I said there's a question that keeps coming up.
I started a storm. I'm sorry.
I know, the ice cream scoop magnet. Right now, guys, we don't have any ice cream.
I apologize. They are something.
She has a stash of her own. We don't have them right now.
They'll be back.
But you can still use your ice cream scoop and talk, as you're talking about your ice cream scoop, you can use it. Hey, it's time for me to tell you the scoop about Tupperware. So you can turn it into that way. All right. I know it is.
They'll be back. Don't worry.
It'll be back. Don't worry. It'll be back. So, I always like to ask questions like, how do you know the host? And so, Pat, why would you ask people, why do they know the host?
Well, I want to know how they know the host because not only do I want to date in different chains, but I want to recruit in different chains. So I want to date a party with her neighbor and her coworker. I want to offer the opportunity to her coworker. I want to find out. I want to know where I'm going next. And that's how I find out is how do you know your host? And often sometimes I also, by knowing more about my hostess, I also can turn it around and talk to her. People from so many different areas. My gosh, you'd be great in Tupperware. Look at all these different connections you have. You have people from church. You have people from work. You've got people from your bowling league. You would be great at what I do.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, exactly. That's why you ask these questions. That's why you want to know, how do you know the host? Because that gives you a place to start, because then you'll know, do they like their job? Because if they say we work together, oh, tell me about your job. And then sometimes people go, I hate my job. Sometimes people go, oh, it's kind of boring, or, it's just part-time. I'm hoping to go full-time. It gives you insights as to things that they might be needing and things that you can offer them. You also can, you want to look at, when you're doing the virtual parties, who's the one that's asking a lot of questions? Who's the one that's responding to the things that you do? Who gets excited about the parties that are being, or the products that you're showing there as well? Who's the person who bought the most? Who's the person who bought the least? What are some of the other things that you like to find out, Pat?
Well, I think one that we haven't talked about that to me is the most important is interviewing every hostess before her party. Every hostess should have that opportunity before I even start, because her party is a perfect place to start her business. We're going to date parties. Do you want to go and make money or go and spend money? So why not give this a try? So that's where I always start, as that hostess first. So let's go there.
Yeah, always ask the host first. I love that. And one of the things that I used to do is probably not I don't know. Maybe it was people. I know nobody was ever offended. That's probably why I was such a good recruiter. But then I would talk to my host, like you said, and sometimes they would say, I don't know, because people are always afraid, right? And they'd say, I don't know, and I go, don't worry. Let's just do your party. Let's see what happens at the party. And then we can talk some more about it. So then as I'd start the party, I'd go, hi, everybody. I'm Marcia the Tupperware Lady. I want to give our host, Pat, a big round of applause. Let's everybody give her a big round of applause. Yay, Pat. And guys, I have been talking to Pat about joining my team. I think she'd be awesome. How many of you think Pat would be awesome? Yay. And I'd raise my hand.
Raise your hands.
My head. Yes. And everybody would be, yeah. I could give her a big round of applause. Come on. And so I'm kind of prepping her. And then the other question I would always say, how many of you think she'd be great? And if Pat decided to sell, you'd all want her to be successful, wouldn't you? And I would
I
do
hope
this.
so. Come on, friends.
That's right. And so what it does is they're all going, yeah, Pat, you could do it. Yeah. So then when I'm talking to people about dating, I could say, if Pat decides to sell, would you have a party for Pat?
Yeah.
Then I turn around to Pat and I go, Pat, 5 of your friends said that if you join, they would have a party for you.
I hope you all wrote that down because seriously, that was probably one of Marcia and my favorite ways to recruit at in-home parties. And it still works.
Exactly.
It works, but it all comes back to you got to talk to the hostess so she's thinking about it before that party.
Yes.
Help Pat finish her kitchen. Yes. Norm says yes. Help Pat finish her kitchen.
All right. So now, guys, you've been talking about things. You've kind of put it out there, and now you're looking around the people, and you go, "Oh, I want to ask her specifically." And so then you've got to offer to share the facts.
Right.
You can't just sit there and think, "Oh yeah, now these people all know about it. They're going to come to me." No, you've got to pick people out because that's what makes it special.
Yes.
I can offer it to the group, but if I offer it to you one-on-one, you're going to feel special. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about because, how many times have you ever had somebody like kind of say something like kind of like, oh, we should get together, but they don't say, let's you and me get together. They just kind of put a broad thing out there, but they don't do it specifically. So you don't know if they really mean you or not. So it's important that you offer individually. So you reach out to them. And I just put a few words on here that I like to use. Have you ever thought about having your own business? I'd love to tell you more.
Yeah, I got to interrupt for a minute. This is an important part to me. I think it's so important you realize what you asked when you get the answer. So if you say, have you ever thought of having your own business? And they say no, they didn't say no to the opportunity. They said they've never thought of it before. Remember what you asked. Mm-hmm. And then when they say no to that, then you go, well, I can understand that because maybe you've never heard of all the benefits of Tupperware. I'd love just to share it with you.
Exactly. Because people, you're like you said, I've never thought about selling. No, I never have. I don't think, and sometimes they'll even go, I don't know if I could do something like that. Mm-hmm. And then it's just, and like you just said, how do you know if you don't at least know what you're saying no to? Exactly. That's one of the things I always go, how can you say no when you don't even know what you're saying no to? Right. All I'm asking is, can I give you some information so you can make an informed decision? That's what I was just going to say. You can't tell me no until you know what you're saying no to. Exactly. Then I'll accept it. Exactly. But you offer to share the folks by offering a compliment to them. You're so much fun. You know so much about the product. This is going to sound crazy, but I'm looking for some really sharp people to join my team, and I think you'd be awesome. And then sometimes one of the things that, and this really works really, really well in the virtual world when we're talking to people, and it works well in person too, but just to say this thing, I've been challenged to share the facts with 5 people. I just need one more. Would you help me out and be my one more to let me share the facts? Yes. See, because there's always one more. So if I have 5, you could be just one more, and then I can go to somebody else and they can be one more. You're not lying. No. You're telling the truth. It's just you're not telling all the truth, right? So this is the key of how you approach it. I look at it like a game in a way, and in a very fun way of, how many ways can I talk to people? How many things can I share with people? How many people can I offer it to? Because if I offer to enough people, somebody's going to say, yeah, I'll listen. I'll listen. And that's all you want is for them to listen. That's all you're going for. Just let me share the facts so you can make an informed decision. That's it. Exactly. Release the outcome, everybody. Stop stressing. Release the outcome. It's all about the process. It is. And one of the things that, and I believe, I shared with some of you before, one of the things about Charlie always, when I had a goal every party I went to. I wanted to get 2 parties dated. I wanted to recruit somebody. And every night when I walked in, Charlie would ask me, how many parties did you date? Who did you sign up? Because it was like, for me, it was like, that's what I wanted. I wanted to make a difference for somebody else. I wanted them to have this opportunity. How will they know if I don't ask? And so you got to make this just kind of a part of what you do. And it's so exciting when you do this. The great thing about this kind of thing like we're doing tonight is it's all recorded. You can go back and listen over and over and over to this until you get the words right for yourself. And you're going to find words that work better for you. All right. So in the essence of time, we're going to wrap this up here. So what we're going to do is once you've talked to them, once you've asked them, and maybe we'll have to revisit this a little bit deeper in it. But once you've got somebody who says, tell me more, I'm going to tell you guys that there is a formula that when you talk to people, you want to listen twice as much as you talk. Okay, so just write that down. I have 2 ears and 1 mouth because I need to listen twice as much as I talk. And the interview, basically, the giving people the facts about our business, is that you build rapport by telling them why you think they'd be good. And then you ask them questions so that they tell you more. So Pat and I are going to do a little quick role play with you guys. Okay. So, so Pat, thank you so much for talking to me today. Letting me come and share with you about Tupperware and what it can do for you. What was it that you heard at the party that kind of piqued your interest enough that you wanted to know more?
I was really intrigued when you showed me how many parties you had up. I couldn't believe that there was really that much business. I was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
People
and I'll be honest with you. I have more people wanting to have parties than I have time to do. That's why I need people like you to consider starting a Tupperware business too. But before I tell you everything there is to know about Tupperware, let me just ask you a couple questions. Have you ever done anything like this before? Any kind of direct sales type of business?
And guys, I'm going back to when I really started, and that was the reason I said. And no, Marsha, I've never done. I'm a legal secretary. I've never done any sales, not even Girl Scout cookies.
That's great, but gosh, you must be so organized as a legal secretary, because that's got to be a really high stress job.
It's not as fun as you think. All those divorces,
Yeah.
Everybody's unhappy.
Okay, and I'm going to stop for a minute, just guys, because I want you to understand. You asked that question for a reason. I ask, have you ever done anything like this? Because they either have or they haven't. Mm-hmm. If they haven't, they tell me what they've done, and I can say, what you're doing is going to be a great tool for your business. You must be very organized, so that when I'm telling her about why she'd be good in Tupperware, I can say, with your organization skills, you're going to be a game changer in this business. And if she says, I sold something else, I sold Mary Kay, then I would say, tell me about that.
Yeah.
And then they may tell me what they loved about it, or they'll tell me what they didn't love about it. And I don't address any of that right now, other than a quick little note. And this is where you can, when I first started doing this, I would actually have a little piece of paper and I would write notes.
Always.
With it. Because, it's like if you go for an interview, that's what they do, right? So I'm just writing notes down so I can remember what they're telling me. And so, one of the things that I've had people tell me with Mary Kay is that, or companies that they have to keep stock, is that, I invested a lot of money, I had a lot of inventory, and then I couldn't move it. And so this is the key of why we want to know these things, because later on I'm going to say, the great thing about Tupperware is you don't have to have inventory.
Right.
The great thing about Tupperware is that we provide you free training. The great thing about Tupperware is that you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. So whatever it is that they felt they didn't get, I'm going to tell them how Tupperware can offer it. And whatever it was that they loved, I'm going to show them how they can love it in Tupperware too. So that's a really important thing. The next question that I always would ask people is, tell me about your family.
Oh, well, I'm an empty nester. Kids are all gone, grown up, and it's just my husband and myself. And of course, I get to play with the grandbabies all the time.
How many grandchildren?
We have 6.
Oh, my Lord. That's awesome. Yeah. So once again, I'm asking to know a little bit more about them and about what their situation in life is, because that way, when I tell them what Tupperware has to offer, I'm not talking about how good it is for somebody who has babies to somebody who's an empty nester, or how good it is for someone who doesn't work outside the home because, this person works outside the home. I know things about them so I can present the story to them. Another question that I like to ask in this, and you may want to write this one down because this comes up sometimes. Let's just pretend that you decided you were going to sell Tupperware. Is there anyone whose permission you would have to ask before you could say yes?
I'd want to go over it with Norm, with my husband.
Oh, of course. And if Norm knew that you thought this would be good, what do you think he would say?
He'd tell me to go for it.
All right. Guys, you see what I just did? I got rid of that excuse that can happen where people tell me that that their husband won't let them do something.
Right.
And I know that sounds crazy, but that's sometimes an excuse that we get. So I've got that out of the way. Mm-hmm. Then I would go and I would just ask them a couple of more questions. And the last two questions that I usually would ask is something about, so let's just pretend that you decided that you did want to give Tupperware a try. How many hours a week would you want to invest in your business?
Probably 15 to 20.
Okay. And for that 15 to 20 hours, how much money would you like to make? And I know as much as possible.
I know.
What would make you feel like it was worth it to you?
Probably about $1,500, $2,000
for a month.
If I made that would be fun money.
Okay. So $1,500 a month, and you were spending 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Right. All right. So I'm making a note of this. So guys, think about this, what she just told me. 15 hours a week she's investing. How many parties do you think she could hold in a week in 15 hours a week? Think about that, right? And so if she's saying that, then I know that probably she could hold, 5 to 8 parties a week, really, right?
In virtual, definitely.
In the virtual world, for sure. Even in the in-person world, that's 5 parties.
Right.
And I know that if somebody's holding that many parties in a week, at the end of the month, they're going to have made well over $1,500 to $2,000. Mm-hmm. So this is why you need to know, like, how much do you make for every $100 that you sell? What's the average party? So you can be able to position it and say, I know you can make that money. So now I have this information, and then I can turn around and tell them the story based on what you told me, Pat. I really believe Tupperware could work for you. You've got such great organizational skills, and with the extra time that you have, and you want to keep some flexibility so you have time for your grandchildren. You could easily be making $2,000 a month in Tupperware by investing that 15 to 20 hours, because what I would say we're going to focus on is getting you 5 to 7 parties a week, and in the virtual world that's super easy. And then sharing the opportunity with other people. Like right now, do you have any friends or anybody that maybe is in a situation similar to you that might be interested in learning more too?
I probably could think of I got a couple biking friends, cyclist friends that might they're my age.
So guys, you see what I just did? I've got her thinking about how she can add other people. See, everybody needs to come in with a Tupper buddy. Everybody needs to join with somebody else. So if we can get them to do that, then that's going to double the amount of people coming in. And if I recruit my hostess and I recruit people at the party, I'm going to put those people under the hostess because they're her friends. And I'm going to build a new manager as well, because as I build my team, I'm getting paid on 3 levels as a manager, and as a director, there's no limit to how many levels I can have under me. So it's just, it really builds that momentum, and it will help you grow faster. All right. Last thing, you got to ask for the decision. And these are 5 that I like to use. Pat, which one of these is your favorites?
Probably the 1 to 10. And I just think when we don't close, we lose. And I think the close is one of the most important things that doesn't get done. We share the information and then it just kind of drops. It's like, well, where are we going here?
Right. So closing is an art. And I think a lot of times we hesitate to close because we're afraid they're going to say no.
Yes.
But here's the thing, guys. If you don't get a decision, it's a no.
Yeah.
So why are you afraid of the no?
Yeah.
That just means next opportunity. Let me move on to somebody else. And no doesn't always mean no, I don't want to. No.
Marsha froze
several times because sometimes it wasn't the right time. Sometimes the opportunity wasn't right for her at that time. So just real quickly, these are some of my favorites too. The small series of yeses is that as you go through it, and you may have noticed when I was talking to Pat, I would say, I actually didn't really do this one, but when I would tell the story back, I would say, how does that sound? Right. What do you think about that? Does that sound good to you? As I'm telling them about what Tupperware has to offer, that you get training and support for free. Does that sound pretty good? Okay, great. Yeah. And there's no inventory. How does that sound? Okay. It's called a small series of yeses, so that they're saying yes to everything. So at the end, why would they not say yes?
Exactly.
Right? The 1 to 10, Pat, share with them the 1 to 10.
So the 1 to 10 close is so powerful in my world. So Marsha, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I'm really glad I listened, but it's not for me. And 10 being, let's get going. And you can't be a 5 because that's wimpy. No wimpy in Tupperware. Can you pick where would your interest lay right now? And then they tell me. And anything over a 7 means we're scheduling a launch party.
Awesome. Yeah. And I always look at it that like with 1 to, when I always say you can't say 5 or 6 because that's right in the middle. But like 1 to 4, it's just thank you for your time. Yeah. And would you, is there any one thing that is, kind of the reason why it doesn't work for you, that maybe it wasn't the reason it worked for you? Only because it helps me to know, why Tupperware doesn't work for some people. And I just like to get that out because it helps me. But I always try to date a party with them. Always. If they are 7 to 9, then I always go, awesome. That tells me you like what you've heard. It also tells me you have a question I haven't answered. So what do you need to know so that we can turn that 8 into a 10?
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, but it gives you that place. Where are they? A big one that I hear a lot of times from people is like, I need to think about it.
I got a good one for that. You want mine?
Okay.
This is my favorite. All right, everybody. This is like the Pat Russell secret sauce. So if they say I have to think about it, because sometimes even though they've said they don't need to talk to their spouse, they still need time to think. I said, okay, what are you going to be doing? It's 9 o'clock right now. You're going to be around tomorrow night around 9 o'clock. Yes, I am. Okay, here's my Bob Barker deal. This is, I'm aging myself, but here's the deal. When you call me before I call you, and I'll call you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock to check in to see what you're thinking. But if you call me first, I'm going to have an extra gift for you because I get to do the happy dance all around my desk because I know how wonderful you'd be in Tupperware. My friends, my phone rings all the time, or I get a text. I'm a yes, and it'll be before 9 o'clock because they want the extra gift.
I love that. I've never heard that before. I love that one. Yeah, I always say, if you're, I'm so excited that you're thinking about it because I know you wouldn't waste your time thinking about something that you're not interested in.
Right.
And then I would say, what is it you need to think about that maybe I can give you some more information?
Yeah.
So once again, it's always try to clarify why they say no or why they're not making their decision. Sometimes it's just call a duck, based on everything you've heard, how does it sound? Great. Let's open your account. We can do it right now.
Yep.
And it's just boom, get them going. And what do you have to lose, right? So those are just some really important things about getting the people to make the decision and then getting them off to a great start. So guys, give Pat some love.
Aww. We had so much
Because I
fun.
certainly appreciate her being on here with us and sharing that. And I know we've given you a lot of stuff, guys, and I hope you go back and read this. And if there's questions you have, put them in the comments, and we can always do another training on this to get you a little bit more involved and or give you a little bit more information so that you can do that as well. So thank you, Pat,
You're
so much.
welcome.
And we're almost ready to wrap up. I have another one of our amazing directors here to join us to share something with you. So everybody say bye to Pat.
Bye, all.
Good night, Pat. Thank you. All right. And as you know, guys, we are working on our Jubilee fundraiser. We are already, we have over $700 raised for our fundraiser to help cover expenses for Jubilee next year, which is great. Our newest one is our raffle that we have coming up. And one of our amazing directors is here with me tonight, the one and only Aubrey Stebbins. Oh, Aubrey, you look like you're nice and warm over there. Let me take myself off and put you on here. I mean, I can't, so I can see you.
Can you hear me? I think my light's kind of bright, but hopefully you guys can hear me.
We can hear you. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I'm going to show you guys. I just posted this in the company page, but I put together a logo item bundle, and I have I'm cozy in my wearable blanket. I have in that bundle, you guys, whoever wins it is going to get one of their own. And then just a few more items that are in there. We have this logo canvas bag. I don't know why it's so blurry, but it says, "Love what you do." It's a canvas bag. Also going to get the exclusive stainless steel eco water bottle here. And it's going to come with the orange bottle wrap that says, "Love what you do," as well as you're going to get a pink one. That way you can put on your own eco bottle. But the stainless steel bottle is amazing. You're also going to get, I got a few decals here, a small one and a big one that says "Love what you do" Tupperware, as well as an eco bottle. Got a journal here that says Tupperware, "I believed I could, so I did." And this is a nice notebook to take with. Got some sunglasses that say Tupperware on them. We've got some hair ties that also says Tupperware. So you're going to be able to rep Tupperware in style, as well as a lanyard that says Tupperware. Also has a cell phone holder, which is nice for when you're working at your desk, along with wearing your wearable blanket. And then I've got a bundle of stickers here that say "Love what you do," "Bring on the party," "No time to waste," as well as #TupLove. So there's 20 pieces in total that is going to be included in this logo bundle. And again, you're going to want to have this because I know I work from home in my office and I wear this often. And it does have a hood as well. So,
oh my gosh, I love that. And I love those hair ties. I got to get me some of those. So guys, this is just one of the raffle gifts that we're going to be giving away at the end of the month. It'll be in our first December. We'll do it in December, our first week of December. We're going to do these. You could get these to you before Christmas if you need, because there's going to be lots of other stuff. But this is our exclusive logo bundle. Lots and lots of great stuff in there. So definitely, if you haven't gotten your raffle tickets yet, you're going to want to make sure that you're getting those. And this is how you get your tickets. You go to our Google form. It is listed on the Hooray group. You can go ahead and use that to sign up. And then you Venmo the money to at Hooray Jubilee. 2 tickets for $5, 5 tickets for $10, 15 tickets for $20. So Aubrey has gone over and above for you guys. And so you want to make sure that you got your tickets in time so that you can get in on the drawing for all that great stuff. Thank you, Aubrey. And as we close up tonight, guys, I want to remind you, just no matter who you are, you alone give the world something that it cannot get from any other source. And I want you to keep that in mind, that you are amazing. You have so much to offer. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody else. Just go out every day and be the best that you can be. Aim to do a little more today than I did yesterday and give the world what only you can give it. And together we're going to go to the top. We're moving and grooving. We do have sampling starting tomorrow. I forgot to load the slides for that, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on as soon as we get off tonight, so you guys can get ready to sneak peek what's coming in our December brochure. And guys, we've got 2 amazing new products that you've never had the opportunity to sell before. One you had a chance to earn. That's the new clear Clearmate storage containers. But we have a brand new line of glass and bamboo containers. Oh my gosh, they are gorgeous. And there's all those folks who want those beautiful glass and bamboo on their countertops. It's going to be a big seller for the month of December. So get ready to get your samples and take advantage of those. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Charlie, can we get a little music to boogie our way out of here? Bye everybody.